Greetings. So today's video isn't going to be about 3D. I'm gonna touch digital drawing, specifically how you do your line art, because I feel like line art is one of the most important factor of a digital piece. So I'm going to show you guys my way of going about doing my line art, and hopefully it will be helpful for you guys. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing, I have seen a lot of people, a lot of my friends do this the incorrect way. It really will hurt your muscle memory in the long run. Say for example, if you don't align your tablet with your screen in this manner, your hand-eye calibration is going nuts. And say for example, imagine this tablet is placed like slightly off the parallel line of the screen, right? Imagine you draw a straight line, because this is your eye, right? You seeing the screen, and this is your way of sitting in front of the screen. Say your hand draw a straight line down, but on the screen it will be like this regarding to the angle of your tablet. So in the long run it will kind of hurt your hand-eye coordination, right? So my recommendation is place your tablet parallel to your screen in this manner. So when you draw a straight line, it will appear a straight vertical line on the screen. Remember this is really important. Don't neglect this. Okay, the second point is, in 3D, if you want to do something, you're gonna block out your mesh first, right? Before going into details. This is the same in 2D. You're gonna block out first. You're gonna have a rough sketch before you go into details. Finish up polishing your line, whatever you do after that. But beforehand, you're gonna need a rough sketch to guide your eyes. Well, you take less time for a rough version, and there's a chance that you might explore your options, and it will save a lot of time for you to erase it and redraw the piece when it's rough, rather than going into here and erase certain details and redraw it back. Trace perfect lines back in is not very efficient. Okay, after doing the rough sketch, you already got a solid foundation to build upon. So the next time you trace the line, tracing is always easier than drawing. So this is like the guide map. And also, if you work in an environment where you constantly need feedback from your superiors, most of the time they will ask you for a rough sketch before going into details. That's always the case. So keep in mind that. So the third point is that most of the time when you're scared of drawing line art is when you don't have enough knowledge in this specific area of art. So your lines tend to be jagged and it looks childish. It looks like 3-year-old drawing. Remember, when you do things like this, it takes a lot of practice too, but over time it will be better. You will constantly be drawing in order to achieve this kind of level. But there are a few tips that I can give you right now to improve your line. Firstly, is that no jagged line. Don't do this. Go one straight line from down to bottom, from left to right, wherever direction it is, go straight. Okay, don't do this. Don't do jagged line like this. It's not pleasing to the eyes, nor it will help you be a better drawer. No. And to achieve a straight, confident line, most people get this wrong, but you're gonna draw from your elbow, not your wrist. This is me drawing from my wrist. This is the distance that my wrist can move. But when you draw, you have to use your elbow to pivot the drawing. This is the much larger gesture that I can draw using my my elbow as a pivot. Well, using your wrist to draw is not bad. From time to time I do use it, but you only do it for a small detail like maybe this. But most of the time I use my fingers instead, like use my 3 fingers as pivots, not the wrist, because when you use the wrist, as you can tell, if we are artists, the hands and the wrist, more specifically the wrist. If we artists, the wrist is really important. Constantly putting pressure on your wrist can be really troublesome down the road. So yeah, don't do that. Okay. Again, no jagged lines. Use your elbow to pivot, not your wrist. Draw a straight line with quick gesture. Don't do slow, methodical line because it will most likely to ruin your straightness. Okay, so the fourth point is that you keep practicing drawing. There are a few practice exercises that you can do to warm up before you go into your actual drawing. Is that you can draw simple shape first, like try to get the straight line as straight as possible, and maybe you're gonna learn your perspective too by drawing the cube in perspective, cylinder in perspective, box shaped in perspective, and maybe and another thing that you can connect the two dots. Just draw two dots and connect them. Try to match those as close as possible. Right? Do drawing a lot, okay? The fifth point is that you're gonna get your line weight right. It will look satisfying if you get it right. There's a few points that I want to point out in order for you to improve the line art quality. You usually want to be able to produce thin and thick line. Don't just always press your tablet hard. This is very boring. Say for example, I don't have the example here, but say for example I do every single line as a strong bolded line. This is really boring. But when it comes to weighted line, like lines that have weight, the outline is usually most of the time, but it still depends on your style. But my recommendation is that you try to get your outline thicker than most of the inner lines. And another point is that the lines will get thicker when it converge, like this, because it indicates some sort of ambient occlusion, right? Like this area here, what is it? I do have this area here. So, example, you do this, right? And you thicken up the area where the line meets. So that is that. The thicker lines can represent shadows too. And another thing, this is quite counterintuitive when you think about that, but if you notice that some of it, like this is fur, so like this is not a very good example. I don't know why I chose this pic. Okay, so here, right here, you don't always have to connect the line, right? You don't always have to do it like this area. You don't always have to do it. Your job is to indicate there's some sort of connection in between, and let the audience eyes to fill in the gaps. Alright, I'm gonna touch more about line weight, but yeah, you should be able to improve your line in a few steps. Okay, the sixth point is that this is called the hatching and cross-hatching technique. You can spot it right away when it's done right, because it's really conveying the feel of manga drawing. I would say 99% of manga artists do this because it's like the signature of manga comic. Right, let's get into it. The left picture is where there's an absence of hatching and cross-hatching. There's no indication of shadows or whatever. But on the right side, you can see there's hatching where it is needed to be. So it looks more interesting. Yeah. Hatching and cross-hatching can be done in a few areas where you want to convey blushing, like on the cheek. People do this all the time, or when you want to indicate some sort of shadows where the light cannot hit. like here, this area, and this area. And I think when you use hatching, cross hatching to indicate shadow, I think is about 90% of the time when you choose to do it. It also can be done when in manga you cannot use color. There's only black or white. It's only line or empty blank area. So you use hatching or cross hatching to express darker colors, like in this area. In the bra, it's in a darker color, so I use hatching to indicate that. And it can be used to express form as well, like in the button here. As you can see, there's a lot of form comparing to this. And volume too, form and volume. If you use hatching to express volume, it will be seen as a 3D object rather than a 2D drawing. There's no indication of volume in here, whereas this area looks believable. And sometimes you can use, this is most of the time, cross hatching. By the way, hatching is when you do multiple parallel lines, but cross hatching is hence the name, crossing. Yeah, so the cross hatching is mostly used to express a dirty surface, like in here. I think that's it. So there you have it, 6 points of improving your line art. If you got any more to add, please leave it down in the comment section below, and I'm going to be talking more in detail in the future videos when I actually draw something for you guys. So yeah, I think that will be it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.